That's the number one step here. What you do in this number one step, you bring some default libraries in your project based on, let's say, SU 90.1 2010 or 7 or 2013 for different climate zones and different building use types. Again, guys, don't get confused here. I'm going to explain you all these steps in detail. It's a just brief introduction. All right. After running this script, we create the geometry using SketchUp tools. Then you assign properties to your spaces. Then you assign some additional controls like daylighting controls or shading devices. You make some more changes, assign thermal zones, define individual properties, and then move to the main OpenStudio interface. Uh, but before we move to the interface, let's just talk about some initial process. If you are a new user, how to start on this? Well, right now I'm using the SketchUp Pro version. If you are familiar with SketchUp, it comes in two different versions. One is SketchUp Make, which is like free version for students or not for commercial purpose. And this is this second version, which is Pro, for which you need to pay something like, I think, $1,000 or $599 something. So just to let you know, if you are going to use SketchUp for your commercial work, you should buy a Pro version rather using Make version. All right. Just go through this video. It will give you more information on why you want to use Pro version. For example, in Pro version, you can actually export CAD files and PDF files to create your geometry.